All right, let's walk through this together, one slide at a time, and treat it like a quiet conversation you're having with someone who wants to get better at selling without feeling salesy. We open here with a line almost everyone in sales has heard: I need to think about it. And notice the framing on this slide. It's not about forcing a yes. It's about turning hesitation into confident commitment without pressure. That distinction matters because most people don't lose sales due to lack of skill. They lose them because they misread this moment. They hear delay and assume rejection. But as this quote from Jeb Blount suggests, objections are rarely walls. They're doors that haven't been opened yet. Before we go deeper, here's a quick note. If you want something practical to follow along with, scripts, reflection prompts, and examples, you can download the PDF linked below. And while you're there, subscribe so you don't miss future breakdowns like this. We'll build on these ideas over time. Now let's move forward. This next slide lays out the path. What we'll cover is simple but not shallow. We're going to look at why prospects hesitate, how to respond without pushing, the 7 strategies that actually restore momentum, and how to close the loop with clear next steps. Notice the flow here. Understanding comes before technique. Response comes before persuasion. Action comes last. That order is intentional. When people reverse it, pressure creeps in, and pressure kills trust. Here's the reframe most people need. Hesitation is not rejection. When someone says, I need to think about it, they're often saying, I'm not fully clear, or I'm worried about making the wrong decision. This slide points out something important. Most deals stall because clarity is missing, not because value is absent. Gartner's data backs that up. Indecision, not price, not competition, is the real killer. Once you see that, the moment stops feeling personal. And when it's no longer personal, you can respond calmly. Now we get into the first real strategy, decoding the meaning. Behind hesitation, there's usually fear. Fear of paying too much, fear of choosing wrong, fear of regret, fear of explaining the decision to someone else later. As this slide suggests, your job isn't to argue with the hesitation. It's to surface what's underneath it, calmly, curiously. The jolt effect talks about this idea of reducing decision friction. Think of yourself less as a persuader and more as someone helping another person think clearly. When you approach it that way, defenses drop. This next slide builds on that foundation. Acknowledge before you advance. Validation lowers resistance. It's almost disarming. When you say that makes sense, you're not conceding the sale. You're stabilizing the conversation. Chris Voss captured this well. Empathy isn't agreement, it's understanding. There's a big difference. One quick story here. A SaaS founder once told a prospect, you should absolutely think this through. It's a big decision. The prospect paused, then said, no one else has said that to me. They signed a week later, not because of pressure, because of trust. Slide 6 is where skill really starts to show. Probe gently, not aggressively. Open questions turn vague delays into real conversations. What specifically are you thinking through is very different from what's holding you back. One invites clarity, the other invites defense. Spin selling emphasized this decades ago, and it still holds. 1 or 2 thoughtful questions are enough. The goal isn't interrogation, it's illumination. When people hear themselves articulate the concern, it often shrinks. Once the concern is visible, we move here, re-anchoring on value. Notice what this slide doesn't say. It doesn't say pitch harder, it says respond with tailored evidence. Generic benefits feel like noise at this stage. Specific relevance feels like relief. Aristotle's idea of balancing logic, emotion, and credibility fits perfectly here. You're not just proving your offer works. You're showing why it works for them, and when value reconnects to their original goal, momentum returns. This slide is subtle but powerful. Create ethical urgency. Urgency isn't about fear, it's about helping people decide. Pressure says act now or else. Ethical urgency is here's what changes if you wait. There's a big difference. The Challenger sale showed that strong sellers teach prospects something about their situation they hadn't fully considered. Opportunity cost is often that lesson, and when urgency feels informative instead of manipulative, people lean in rather than pull away. Now we get practical. Propose clear next steps. Momentum fades without structure. Open-ended endings feel polite, but they're dangerous. Follow-up sometime is where deals go to sleep. Instead, suggest something small and mutual. A quick review call, a short comparison, a decision checkpoint. As this slide hints, a small yes beats an open maybe. Clarity reduces anxiety, and anxiety is usually what caused the hesitation in the first place. This next slide is about discipline. Follow up with purpose. Most deals don't close on the first pass. That's normal. Persistence works when every tie adds value, not just checking in, but here's something relevant you might find useful. A short insight, a case example, a reminder tied to their stated concern. Schiffman's work showed this clearly. The people who win aren't louder, they're steadier. Here we pause and consolidate. What should you apply today? Slow down your response, label the hesitation, ask one clarifying question, offer one clear next step. That's it. No theatrics, no scripts shouted into the phone, just calm, structured presence. Try this on your next call. One conversation is enough to feel the difference. Now, this slide invites reflection, and this is a good moment to hear from you. Look at the question here. Where might I need to think about it be pointing to a gap in clarity rather than resistance? Think about a recent deal. If you're watching this, drop a comment below and share what you think the real hesitation was. Was it price, timing, risk, or something else entirely? Reading how others interpret these moments is often where the best insights come from. We close here with a simple truth. When handled well, hesitation becomes collaboration, not combat, not persuasion games. Collaboration. That's where trust lives, and trust is what turns thinking into deciding. Brian Tracy's line fits perfectly. Objections are requests for information. Once you see them that way, the entire tone of your sales process changes. To make this actionable, grab the PDF in the description. It pulls these ideas into something you can revisit and apply. Subscribe for future breakdowns like this, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. That's how you stop losing sales at I need to think about it and start winning them with clarity.